My wallet is sobbing. I can hear it. I can hear it in the hall now. It is breaking down, crying.
It turns out that Attila, the arrogant so-and-so, he's got a fake hammer.
Oh, a fake?
Yeah.
Whoa.
As I say, dick.
Welcome to episode 69 of the Your Allegiance podcast, and this week we're going to talk all about the Ashes of Agbendor reveal. So that was a big, exciting Mythic Legions reveal that happened last Friday, so 1 week ago as you listen to this, or at least 1 week ago as you listen to this. So we have maybe even more figures than we thought we were going to get to talk about, so that's fun. And how are you guys doing? How are you, Mal? Have you had the week
all right.
to consider?
Still not recovered from how hideous my predictions were, but way off. Way off. Yeah.
It was a bit of a tough station for us there on the odd prediction front. And you, Rich?
Yeah, well, my predictions were equally as way off, but I did guess Aza, so I'll take that as a plus point.
Did you say the Night Builder as well? I thought. Or was
No.
that just a previous one you said?
But yeah, no, I can't take the credit for it this time. Even if I did, somebody go back through the old post, listen to it and go, no, you didn't. What are you talking about?
I thought, no, Asa was on your list.
Aza was definitely on my list. Oh yeah,
Aza
I'm
version
taking
2.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I've, not that I'm getting older or anything like that, but I think I'm still recovering from staying up to like 2 a.m. watching the reveal. So I need to sort that out before Legion's Con, because I thoroughly intend staying up till 2 a.m. several times at Legion's Con. So I need to up my game a bit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one, the old late night. And obviously I had an hour later than you guys, just because of time zones. So we're getting old. There's no two ways about it. And someone that's getting even older this week is Mr. Jones.
Sweet.
So we say a happy big birthday to Rich.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's which number is it, Rich?
It's 40. No, it's not. I wish it was. I will be tomorrow as we're recording this. I will be 50,
Amazing,
which I'm
amazing.
horrified by. But
Well, I have to say you're
Don't
looking
look
well.
a day over 49.
Yeah, you're
Thank
looking
you.
well for 50, that's for sure. And I wanted to share, go over to our YouTube if you want to see this, an amazing birthday card that Rich got from his co-workers.
yes, they used AI art to simulate me. Apparently, it took them 14 goes and 14 lots of computations to get something that looked like me. But it is pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
awesome.
I think this is a place maybe where AI art is okay because no one's ever drawn a picture of you. So
Not as far as I'm aware. No.
yes, so in this case, you're getting something awesome that you never would have had without AI art. So
Yeah.
we'll take that. It really is. It's perfect. Just for the audio listeners. So it's Rich sitting kind of on an armchair / couch, which is basically what he does on the podcast.
Yep.
Got a couple of cabinets behind him, like he does. Got a lot of action figures on the table in front of him. Got a microphone. Got a beer in his hand. Headphones on the head. Obviously, it looks a bit like Rich. I'd say the belly isn't doing you any favors, Rich. I don't think.
I'd say it's not big enough. But there we go. I'll try and work on that before Legion's Con as well.
I don't know now. And I think the proportions are slightly off because you're definitely taller. So you even if you had a belly like that, you'd kind of be able to hide it a bit better, I think so.
Yeah, but it's a fabulous card. I mean, fair play.
It's
When I saw this,
fantastic,
I was just like, wow.
Well, the one thing I have to say is that they care about you in work. Whether they like you or not is one thing or another, but they definitely care enough to do something awesome like this. So
Yes,
you
absolutely.
can't be doing too bad of a job there, you know?
No, and I had 50 balloon, a big
50
5
balloons,
and
wow.
a big 0.
Oh,
No,
big
not 50
5 and a
balloons.
0. Oh, yeah, that
Big
was
5
the
and a
picture
0.
you sent us.
Yeah, on my desk and that when I walked in this morning, which was just hilarious. They
Nice.
clearly put a lot of effort into. I had 50,
Incredible.
a glitter with 50 in it all over my desk. That took some clearing. Various blown up balloons, etc.
Yeah.
But my wife, bless her, she was like, "Oh, it's really cool. Bring it all home." And I'm like, "What?" So I had to bring it all home. Luckily, I drove in today, so I had to go to the car park, get my car, drive back to the office, load it up with balloons. And I don't know about you, Mal, but it's blowing a gale down here at the moment. So that was fun.
It's a bit too still here. It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
It's been, so I had to get someone to help me down with the balloons because they're going to blow away in this wind. And now they're all set up in my living room. So,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, you should have got them for the background of the show this week. That would have been fun.
I was going to, and then they were moved by my family into the living room because apparently that's where they're being displayed. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah, we're not important enough, so I get it.
Well, we can make his life less miserable, I think, is what it is. Or we're less likely to make it miserable. That's better.
We'll try and cheer you up after this monumental, or just before this monumental event, and after, as our listeners are listening to this.
It's been a good build-up, though. Let's say tomorrow's a big day, and we're going out for a greasy spoon breakfast.
Oh, wow.
There's a fabulous greasy spoon cafe about 20 minutes from us that we haven't been to for at least 6 months, maybe even getting close to a year. So we'll go that. Then I'm going to watch The Fall Guy in the cinema.
Oh, I heard it's great.
Which I'm looking forward to. The reviews have been really positive. Have you seen it, Mal?
Yeah,
it's really fun. It's really fun.
Excellent. And then we're off out for a barbecue meal in the evening. There's a barbecue restaurant in the centre of Bristol. So
that's.
And we would have been doing Forbidden Planet as well, except the one in Bristol still hasn't reopened after a fire in December.
Oh, no.
Which makes me think maybe it's not going to reopen because it doesn't take that long to redo stuff.
Yeah, there might be some corporate decisions going on there.
I think there might have been. Yeah.
Well,
so no, but an all round a good day. Yeah.
So you're taking the day off for your birthday?
I am taking the day off work for it. Yes.
Do you get in the UK? Do you get a holiday for your birthday, or does your company do that? No,
No.
It's not common here, but I have heard of companies that will give you a day off within a week either side of your birthday, kind of.
Okay.
So it's not an official like holiday on your holiday balance, but you're allowed to take a. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the best I've had so far is a £10 golf voucher from American Discount Golf, one of the golf chains over here in the UK, which is fine because I haven't played golf for about 18 months now. So
and also there's nothing that you can get for £10 in golf.
Oh God, no! You put it towards some balls,
exactly. So they're still going to get money off you.
Yeah, exactly. And then the garden centre that we use, and we've got a loyalty card with, sent me a voucher for 2 free hot drinks and 2 pieces of cake. So
that's when you know you're getting old, huh? When you're getting garden centre vouchers.
I said to Kerry and Holly, I was like, "Well, just to be clear, they're both mine. I'm going by myself. It's my birthday treat."
We should have got him a Source Horseman voucher or a Star Horseman voucher, Mal.
We should. I didn't even think about it.
Do they do it in quantities of £1?
We're broke for the pre-order as well, you know.
So I'm selling so much stuff.
Yeah. But anyway, Rich, congratulations on such a wonderful milestone.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to celebrating in person with you at some stage in the future.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's get on to Ashes of Agbendor. Right, so we have the reveals, and I think I've put them in the order of how they were revealed, if that makes sense. So
that's good. My notes are in that order, so this works well.
Brilliant, yeah. There's always the temptation to do them in the order, which is, I guess, alphabetical from the website. But I thought this might make more sense because they reveal them in that way, and then maybe if we're going through the bios, we might be able to talk about them that way. Maybe just to start, Rich, should we talk about expectations a little bit and how, just take that away, how maybe our expectations were a little bit different to what we got, and maybe it takes a few days of reflection to maybe think that's not so bad, but that maybe things could have been set up a little bit differently. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm feeling much more positive about the wave now than I was when it was first revealed. I was feeling quite underwhelmed. Yeah, and I know a lot of the people have put that comment up, sort of thing. But that's partly my own fault. I think expectations. I knew it was a replacement for an All Stars wave, but I'd also managed to move that out of my head. So if that had been in my head, I'd have been thinking, well, there'll be loads of parts reused because that always happens with all star waves, and that's absolutely fine. I know what to expect. But I think because that had shifted out of my head, and I'm guessing a lot of other people's heads as well, that combined with all the talk about the version 2s there's been, then it's like, well, this is going to be a version 2 heavy wave, hence our podcast with loads of version 2 predictions and that sort of stuff. So I think the all-star angle combined with, and this is no slight on Jeremy at all. I love Jeremy. He does a great job with all this sort of stuff, but I think it would have helped, if they'd made clear it was an all-star replacement wave. Now, they shouldn't have to do that. Experienced collectors like me in particular should know better. Yeah. But that would definitely have helped. And it was premised as being like, the second Great War's finished. Shu is going into the archives and, heroes have fallen and that sort of stuff. And then it immediately went into the first Great War and people that had fallen, which as a premise, I think is great, but it should have been made clear in the sort of the promotional stuff that was going to be it, fallen heroes from the first and the second Great War, or even, something as simple as that sort of thing, just to set expectations a little bit.
I think that was sort of the main thing, wasn't it? The framing of what we were getting maybe was misaligned. I think everyone took it as being much broader, whereas actually it was meant as this little bit of it here is what we're doing. That being the stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go, Rich.
I was going to say, the framing is a very good term, Mal. I like that. But it is, people were expecting people to have died in the Second Great War, and to see that happen. And nobody from the Second Great War died, sort of thing. So again, it's just that framing element.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll find out in the future that several did. But
I'm sticking by that is one thing I'm sticking by from my predictions, that this is just a small part of the. Well, we know that now anyway, don't we? Of the wider story. In fact, I actually wonder if moving forward, we're essentially these middle waves will be the stories from, the library. And that's how they tell the story of the wars.
Yeah, and that'll be a really good way to do that. I don't think many people will be upset if the All Stars doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah,
and this would be a good way to introduce version 2s and some of the more generic characters, maybe like the Shadow Centaurs and that sort of stuff. So I'd be up for that, definitely. With the newer waves, then talking about what happened afterwards and just pushing the story forward.
Yeah, and I think that. I think, of course, if you're going to promote the line, like is Jeremy's job or part of his job, you're not going to downplay it, lads, no, this is, it's mostly reused. Don't get your hopes up. There's not going to be that element. So there has to be a bit of reading in between the lines. And of course, maybe shows like ours are responsible sometimes in setting the expectations. Now, I won't say for everybody, because I'm pretty sure not everybody listens to us. So it's more that I think that's all fine, as long as you're fine with something else as well, or and we're never going to get the predictions right. So it doesn't matter. You'll get the odd one, like you say. Okay, there's definitely going to be. I think a good one now for G-Con might be, okay, I think we're probably going to get the Oto at this stage. I think that's coming, So something like that. But it's a tricky one. I think it's great to have the few days to reflect on it and just take them for the cool ass action figures that they are. Yeah, at the kind of heart of it, that's what it is. I've had the fortune of for next week's episode speaking to a couple of our patrons. We're kind of getting their reaction to the wave, and that's helped me rationalize a little bit the whole thing. So that's been an interesting process for me to reflect on the wave. But anyway, Mal?
I was just going to say, I think the two things that I've sort of in the last few days or whatever have been a bit like, one, I have been a bit taken aback and a bit confused by people's what's the word, reaction to the parts reuse, because to me that is a big part of Mythics and always has been. So is it a testament to the fact we've been very spoiled in the last few years that, where we have had so many new parts and people are forgetting, well, it's not always going to be new parts. And then the other thing sorry, Rich, go on.
I was going to say, Mal, before you carry on, I've got exactly the same thing written down in my notes as well. Yeah. I think the Horsemen are a victim of their own success, quite frankly, with this reaction. The recent last few waves have had so many new parts and so many new collectors have come in that it's then been a shock to new collectors when we get a wave that's predominantly, reuses and repaints, which to us more experienced and old-time collectors is completely normal. And from running a toy company business is completely normal. Yeah, you need to reuse things. That every company in the world does it. Hasbro, Mattel, everybody does it. So.
Well, let's be real. Some of the people complaining about the parts reuse are probably buying 2 figures that use identical bodies, a different head on them, and not thinking anything of it in the next thing.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to add, it's slightly a shame that we talk about the framing of the story, because I've got to say, having read the profiles, some of Jeremy's best writing yet.
They're great, well. And we will.
The bios are awesome.
We will go through them now when we go through the figures. And I think he's got better at with the economy of language and saying a lot in a short amount of sentences.
Quite powerful ones in there as well in terms
for me,
of the emotion.
I didn't. Yeah, for sure. And for me, I didn't have too much problem with the reuse. I expect that, and it's no problem. I think the one advantage the studio has over say customizers is that they can do we say a new head or some sort of take on a head that we can't really do that easily. And so my disappointments in the reuse would be the heads that are reused like on the main characters like Aza and Thrace. I don't know, was just a bit too much for me for version 2.
I will say that's it's a difficult one with that, because I really like the head.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think the Aza version might be the best version, but we've had it twice before in such quick succession, and that's the only issue with that one for me. Is that is the bit that I'm like,
and I know really we've had Atlas and Adamon, but for example, that like Adamon is a kind of almost separate to the story, and it's a Mode 2 tribute. Reuse of a head is, to make the figure look like, the supposed homage is that's okay for me. I can separate that. This is just a little bit too, and the other head I didn't like the reuse of was the Tarnog head with the alternate Centaur head.
Yeah, that didn't really work as a Centaur head for me.
Just no, so that one.
I think if it doesn't really, there's a great new head in that pack. So what am I complaining about? Nothing really. So it's no problem. For me, they could have left that out, but they probably wouldn't have been any cheaper. So someone that likes that will get the same head in that pack, or will get that head in that pack, and then they get a bit of extra value for themselves. So,
I think the Aza thing to me is that the one, the only thing I absolutely desperately think would be needed with every version 2 is a new head sculpt.
Yeah.
You can build, we've been lucky so far. They've all had numerous new parts, and fair play to the Horsemen for giving us that. But they could reuse every single other part of the build, and no one would complain, I don't think, if you had a cool new head sculpt. That's what would distinguish it
and
as a version 2.
The bit of soft goods, obviously, that's not a tooling cost. I mean, it has its own cost, but that can really elevate a figure,
I was going to say we may be getting into too much depth about this because we're going to go into it.
That's okay. That's okay. So, no, but I think it's
just
good.
A version 2 thing. I
think it's good to
Jeremy
get the context on it, because I don't think we need to repeat these kind of complaints in every figure. I think these are an overall view of the wave.
Yeah.
I said to, and this might be repetitive for the listeners once we get to next week's episode. I did say to some of the guests that the Colosseum wave is probably one of the most popular waves in hindsight, and this reminds me very much of that wave in terms of what we get and the variety and the parts reuse. Obviously, that was pretty much, I think, a fully repainted wave, apart from maybe Brontus the Troll.
You have actually brought up my other complaint, is no House of the Noble Bear. What were they thinking?
You got an absolute bucket load of them in November.
I was crying into my beer, Mal, over that one. It was just terrible.
Although Necronominus got 2 goals, so
yeah, never enough.
Necronominus appears here again. So
one thing I would say as well, and before the reveal, I wouldn't have said this at all, but I'd actually have been quite happy, and I think it would have worked better if it had been Shui looking through the scrolls and just looking at the First Great War.
Yeah.
So an entire wave of First Great War stuff. As long as people knew that was what it was. It was focusing on something else. I think that would actually probably work better. And then you could have the Second War characters coming in a bit later, sort of thing. But But hindsight's great.
Hindsight's great, but also then you wouldn't have got some of the cool characters that are in this.
You wouldn't. No, 100%. You wouldn't have the Shadow Centaur, which I personally love. So yeah, you missed out on stuff like that. Absolutely.
Right. Shall we get into the figures themselves then?
Yes.
Mal, you can take us forward first with the bio for the Blue Shield.
There are few stories from the First Great War as heroic or as tragic as that of the Blue Shield. Sworn to Laodicius, the Blue Shield was tasked with guarding the army's rear. Besieged by a horde of goblins, these knights knew they could not keep the flood of evil warriors at bay for long. The Blue Shield decided to destroy the tunnels from where their enemies were coming, a plan that would also trap them in the collapse. The knights knew this would be their final act, yet none hesitated in their duty. The tunnels were destroyed, ending the threat of the goblin army in a selfless act of sacrifice that is still honoured in Leandor today.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome as a bio.
It's a cracking bio.
Pretty awesome set. So this is obviously Army of Laodicius. Various races, so mightn't all be humans, who knows. Sorry, I'll just click forward there. Knights, obviously. And we'll see all the accessories as we get forward. So I think first with the money shot, the what you get in the box shot. So this is a real kind of homage to the original Knight Builder set, but also the 2.0 Knight Builder set. In terms of the colors of those those kind of sculpted cloth pieces. So you got the blues, you got the blue and yellow, kind of the blue line down the middle and the yellow lines on the kind of sides of both the tabard piece and the cloth good piece. You got a bunch of heads, which we'll look at the different builds. I think that's the best way to look at them. That teal kind of coloured soft goods, Mal, that's the same as the original cloth piece that you would have got, or the cloth sculpted piece that you would have gotten that Knight Builder. You have that Knight Builder, don't you?
Yes, just not in its original form.
Gotcha, but you have it.
I may have painted over and destroyed the teal bit.
If Rich had it at any point, he would have sold it by this stage.
I had it once and I sold it, yes.
Yeah. So, super value for this set with all the stuff that you're getting.
Nuts.
Here, let's have a quick look at the different builds. Interesting that it doesn't have the Valiant Knight torso. This is the Red Shield Soldier / Duban torso on the armor. That's a new faceplate, I think, in that helmet. The feathers, obviously awesome. We see them with, is it Adalric?
It's Adalric, yeah.
Yeah, in Necronominus. So we'll probably get them before we get this. And there's a couple of the builds. There's the soft goods. That's a very gnarly looking knight there, Rich.
Oh, yes. I love that look.
Yeah. And this belt piece here, this is proper nice.
Yeah.
I really don't like that axe.
I hate that axe. I'm glad somebody else doesn't like it. I absolutely hate that axe.
It's no bother because you know, there's other axes in the line and there's so many options here with this figure. But yeah, And I know it is with a lot of Army of Leodicius figures, so it makes sense to
It
include
is. I mean, that axe to me, and they may even have marketed it like this originally, just screams elf axe.
Yeah.
It's
does,
just the patterning on it and that sort of stuff. So I just don't like it with a knight. I think with an elf,
just a wee
it
bit
would be
small.
fine.
It's just a little bit small, isn't it? So, you got this last kind of armored bruiser looking guy here. He looks very cool. I love those legs. They're new, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they from the Valiant Knight? They might be from the Valiant Knight, but they look really cool here with the extra.
They're
paint.
definitely on some of the Necronominous wave, I can tell you that.
And this build here, I think this is one you really like, Rich.
It is. I absolutely love this one.
That
The blues
helmet
and
is-
yellow. Yeah, the helmet's just awesome.
So it's the kind of
they showed that with
helmet.
showed it with Sir Elijah, didn't they? First, I think that build or that helmet. The blue and yellow. I've got the version 2 Knight build of the female one with the blues and yellows.
Yeah.
So I'm overjoyed that they got more blues and yellows in there just to give it more balance in the faction. And did you see actually that somebody put a post up saying that Joe Vassapolo had a knight painted like this at Legion's Con last year?
Yes, that was Kevin Boots. Yeah.
Is it Kevin that put that up? Okay.
Yeah. And he
Go on, John.
you said, Mal, sorry.
I was going to say he actually, in the little, what would you call it, watch party we did.
The Discord watch party we did, which was awesome. So we're going to
Yes,
do it for
great
for the next reveals as well. So if you're a Patreon or if you want to join the Patreon, that's a cool thing to look forward to. It's just an audio chat while you're looking at the reveals.
I'm looking forward to doing that with you boys next time. I couldn't this time because I was in a potato Wi-Fi area with people sleeping, people that weren't my family sleeping upstairs. So it was like, I can't risk disturbing people.
Yeah, well, tentatively the next reveal is probably going to be that weekend of August. So free that up.
Which weekend is it?
The 3rd, isn't it?
Something like that, yes.
Okay, that's fine. I'll be in Bristol for that one. So yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Right, and so were you going to say anything more about what Kevin was saying, Mal? Or
Oh, yes. He very quickly, didn't he? He was like, hang on, I recognise.
Yeah.
And said he felt like he'd seen similar paint apps on the knights on Joe Vaspolo's table at last Legion's Con. And then, he's obviously posted the picture that he took that showed them.
So he wasn't dreaming, and he said he actually had a chat with Joe about them as well. So Kevin was on the ball there. I
love what they did with the shield.
yeah.
I was going to say, sorry, John. I love what they did with the shield with this one. So the two different blues. So you've got the sort of teal look from the soft goods and the darker blue from the.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great shield anyway, but combining those colours as well, sort of thing, then it immediately works in two different builds that you can do.
really does. And I love that they have this kind of rusty, kind of bronzish looking collar piece. I think that's a new piece. Maybe comes in Necronominous now, and I just missed it. But that kind of metal kind of collar, chain collar thing.
Yeah,
down
that's
at the
a good
bottom
one.
here.
And you've got, the heads in there. I mean, basically with the head up, the visor up and down, you've got 6 heads.
Yeah,
You know, that's a lot of display options.
that is. Yeah, for $60, this lad is direct order. You probably won't get better value than that in an action figure.
No. My only complaint with the heads would be the bucket helmet with the wings on in this picture. It's the newer one with the holes in it, sort of thing. And I actually would have quite liked to have the older one, just as a proper callback to the original set.
Yeah,
you know,
I got you. But
you can do the rest of it differently. You've got the teal stuff that's soft goods rather than the sculpted cloth from that now sort of thing. But I would prefer the old style helmet.
I get
Just
you,
so
but I also see why they would use the newer one because it's newer and because you can give it a different look with the holes being higher up. I see a 2.0 tabard piece here that seems to be included. That's that little blue triangle there in the front middle.
Yeah.
That's that little tabard that comes with a lot of the elves and stuff.
It
so
is.
that's obviously.
I guess they can make the tab in bit at the back bigger if they want to.
Or maybe
So they
just
can
tabs in. I don't know. Maybe I think people just never realised that, or I've never seen that being used. So yeah, lots of cool options. Lots of the new knight parts here, and another cool thing about this wave, which we haven't mentioned yet, which I think makes it all the better, is that they are trying to get this out within the 12-month calendar month. So
Yeah.
that's going to be superb. So I think it's a big thumbs up for the Night Legion builder.
It is. I would say, I don't know about you boys. Sorry, John.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, I don't know about you boys, but I'm very, very tempted now to buy, because you've got 3 different options with the soft goods, with the cloth and that sort of thing, to get myself another Templar Relic Guard or another Gold Knight and just use those pieces on that. So I get more members, but without buying 3 $60 sets.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is a good idea, actually. I was also looking at, so I mean, we'll get to it, but there's a couple of figures here which I'm not like super into. So I was wondering if I'm going to switch from my normal automatic all-in to maybe just making up the $420 all-in price with actually the figures that I really want, including some multiples.
Okay.
I don't know if that's crazy or whether I should just support my retailers and,
Check what the shipping calculator does for you as well.
Yeah, I've had a look at that. It's about the same. Maybe
Okay.
tenner in the difference, but...
I mean, I will probably get an all-in because there's enough of them that I'm like, I really like that one. But then I am the dissenting voice in that the Night Builder's fine. I'll get one and that'll do me. It's one of the things.
You're not the world's biggest Knight fan,
No, it's one of the things I said, isn't it? On the it's where this like reuse always gets me. It's like it'll be from someone who's got a shelf full of Knights that all look the same to me.
Yeah,
and it's like
they bought 42 Templars from Big Bad during COVID when you couldn't get another figure.
You don't even have to buy 42 of the Templars. It's like, let's face it, Relic Guard, Templar.
Yeah, sure.
They're essentially the same build with a slight tweak.
Yeah.
It's, And
Can I just point out now, there's nothing wrong with buying 42 Templars from Big Bad when they were available.
There isn't, but
nothing
you're not
wrong with that at all, just to be clear.
You're not moaning about reuse,
I'm not, no. And I only bought about 30, so it wasn't quite that bad.
Oh, sorry. I'm sure.
Anyway.
I'm sure Kerry was completely relieved that you only bought 30 rather than 42.
Maybe the box that she carried in lighter, anyways.
I was actually here for a delivery this week. My figure obscura has arrived yesterday, so I was able to carry one in myself rather than.
So is that why you have the pinch nerve in your neck now? If people are watching YouTube. If people are watching YouTube,
Yeah.
Rich is occasionally stretching his neck. He has flagged this up to us because he has a little pinch nerve, which I feel his pain and all that sort of BS. But is that what happened? Yeah. The box a little heavy for you,
I'm going
love.
to say no, but no one will believe me. But no, that's not.
The box a little bit heavy for you, love. Do you want me to take it?
I think the last one Kerry brought in was actually bigger than her. She's only 5'1". I think it was bigger than her. There was so much stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. I can imagine when you got your, if you ever get your Snake Mountain or one of those things, or your Legion's Dragon, the box might be bigger than your wife and you'll still make her carry it in. That's terrible. My other point on the all-in thing is, now that we're doing the podcast, it's great to get the all-in first so that we have it kind of within a reasonable time frame for chatting about on the show. Not that we need to be latest news, of course, but I do like to be within the kind of time frame when there's a bit of hype.
Not a month later.
It's like, we got our orders, 6 months later, and all the other shows have talked about these, and there's a cosmic wave now shipping.
So what we're saying is you two will be doing all the figure reviews from now on, and just ask me about it. And 6 weeks later, when Emporium McCall can send out my stuff to me.
The volume of stuff you order, you were in a different scenario here, Anyway, shall we move on to the Malignancy of Gob Hollow? Now, this was a pretty cool reveal for a number of reasons. A little annoying, as I had been slagging off Mark Hosseal about how he'd got his 1,000 swigs and he was done this year with the goblins. But I got over that pettiness pretty quickly when I saw how cool these figures were. So Mal, take us away with the bio.
One of the most enduring stories of the First Great War is the sacrifice of the Blue Shield and their defeat of the Goblin army. What few realise about this story, however, is that the goblins who were trapped under the Grey Vein Mountains did not die when the tunnels collapsed. Able to see in even the darkest depths, the goblins crawled out from under the rubble and made their way deeper under the mountain. Here they found the vast cavern that would become the city of Gob Hollow. Allowed to fester in the darkness, this malignancy would grow for ages until the goblins rose once again to answer the call of Arathir and fight in his fiery legion.
That's what I was talking about with the writing. This is not the only example, but a lot of story in there in a short little bio. And there is a little note on this that it's a 2-pack set with parts available to create a variety of looks. Some parts in this wave are 1.0 compatible and other parts are 2.0 compatible. So good to know. We will definitely go through that. So they are little stubborn little boyos, these goblins, huh? They would have survived Pompeii, Rich. Sorry.
The dirty undergrounders, that's what they are.
Yeah. Sorry, Mal, I rudely interrupted you there.
No, it's all right. I was just going to say I'm a fan. I like my little dudes, whether they're ugly little goblins or stout little dwarves. They're the best.
So we got two kind of main... the first two pictures here I have for us to talk about is the kind of two main what you gets. So this is figure 1. So that's the swig head. Is that right, Mal?
I
with
think
a brown
it is,
painted hood. Yeah. And a brown cape, soft goods cape. And this comes on the 2.0 style goblin build with this amazing purple belt. That's that belt we were talking about, I think, from the Knights, maybe. Is it, Rich? Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, they were talking about the purple bit being a completely new piece.
So maybe it is. Okay, completely new piece, even better.
And
so
they did say the head was new as well.
They did. Oh, yeah. Okay.
They did. They said the head was new. It's not a swig one. They said it was new.
Okay, it's a new head. Okay, sorry, missed that. Should pay more attention. And we got the boots in purple as well, or burgundy, I would say, maybe more than purple, with the risk of offending.
I was going to say, wait for your inbox to blow up now, John.
Burgundy.
Everything's purple. No matter what colour it is, it's purple.
Well, it's a shade of purple, burgundy. I love the general colour of the armour on this goblin, and also the tabard piece being kind of a slightly different tone and weathered. Almost looks like it's crawled out of the mud a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the overall colour palette for the armours, I mean, it's not a rust, but it's almost that sort of feel to it.
Yeah,
which
for sure.
Is a really nice introduction to the line.
And we get upper legs and bare arms, complete bare arms, down to, except for the wrist pieces, for a goblin, and a reuse of a Nubnik head, which hasn't been reused very often, with war paint on it, and these crazed kind of eyes, with the black kind of almost like eyeshadow / war paint around them, the black war paint. That's pretty cool to get those pieces.
Yes, it's a big appeal of this set to me, and one of the reasons I'll be buying multiples. Because as you guys know, I see every set and go, how can that be used in Cosmic? And it gives
green alien.
Or repainted, used.
Someone was saying these arms probably came from Ukka in Cosmic.
It's probably, good show.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Two of my favourite weapons here now. I love these weapons.
They are both awesome weapons.
That's the little blade with the kind of curved piece of wood and the spikes on it. You could shave yourself with that thing. It is fantastic. And
some of the larger characters probably do, and if the goblins sword.
You can imagine them, as they're threatening an enemy that's tied to a kind of rock, and they're just kind of maybe shaving the enemy just to show them how sharp the blade is. And this kind of short sword with the kind of a almost triangular point on the end of it, kind of off to the side, with a bone. I think that's a bone handle, or
yes,
at least, as far as I remember, and it has painted in bone with some other figures. Just proper gnarly weapons. They haven't been used that much in the past, and I love them.
Yeah, I think the bone-handled sword is one of my favourites.
It is indeed, yeah. And I see I see another 2 weapons here that are my favourites. So this is, I haven't looked closely at the accessories, and oh my goodness, these are it's my favourite little axe and my favourite probably machete type sword. So, woof. And then here's a dwarf disguised as a goblin.
It's a pig disguised as a goblin, surely, John. It's a Borea disguised as a goblin.
How cool is this head with the pig nose?
It is very cool.
It's incredible.
Now, we've been teased this head because it is a head that's appeared in Nate Birch's art for the Deluxe Legion Builder wave, where we also had the Swig head along with the head that you got in that Deluxe Legion Builder wave. So, absolutely stellar head sculpt here with the pig goblin face. I'm glad that we get a different type of goblin face. It's really cool. Really cool. Of the two, so of the 1.0 and the 2.0 build, which is your favourite, Rich?
The 2.0.
Okay, you like them a bit.
They're just a bit more goblin-y in my book, sort of thing. The 1.0s, although they are great, they're a bit too
bulky.
Hench or whatever it is the kids say nowadays. So
I think Gonks might be my favourite goblin, but I do understand the little kind of spindly guys, because I mean Snag is also incredible, you know.
But what I really like, and the clever thing I think they've done with this, is that you've got the 1.0 build, but then you've got the spindly bare arms that come with him.
Yeah,
it looks like there's a small goblin in a set of armor that's just that little bit too big for him.
Yeah, exactly. So you get those arms that are coming that will plug into that body, because that's the body that that's the torso that comes with Poxus, and I think probably the arms that come with Poxus. Is that right? Repainted.
I don't know whether they're just the same replica ones.
I don't know.
Because the Poxus ones were quite scaly, weren't they?
Maybe they had a bit more detail, but they're definitely the same scale arms, the same size.
Oh no,
arms.
They might actually be the ones that come with Poxus. If you zoom in on them, they're quite ridged. You know, lots of little lines on them, as if they yeah.
And another burgundy skirt piece as an extra here. And I don't know if this is the lighting here with the shield or if it looks like that, but I love it if it does.
I'm really hoping it actually looks like that. It's
kind of a two-tone, and we'll see on more pictures here now where we see the different builds that you can do with the goblins. And that other head is Thwick, is that right? The reused Thwick?
Yes.
With the horns, kind of rusted, gnarly looking horns that match the shield, basically. And you got the Duban pauldrons that first came with Duban and Bardrick. Those kind of very kind of smooth curved ones, kind of almost semicircular, and a nice little belt to hang your stuff off. So here's the different builds. So we got a 2.0 with the Knubnik head, and I didn't make a note now here of the different people. These 4 builds are named after people in the Malignancy group, the Goblin Malignancy group, and they're also active in the Cabal. And they're it's Kirby Smith, it's Patrick Patterson, it's Mark Houseel, and it's Dan Tobin. So we've gave them all a mention. Can't remember exactly which is which. I do know that Mark Houseel is the big head. And I thought
Mark Houseel is the pig. You're quite right, John. Yeah.
And I thought that was funny because that's on the dwarf build, so it'd be very easy for Anthony just to stick his Anton head on that one and go, there you go, Mark. There's a 2.0 build with the Knubnik head and the body and the small pauldrons with that cool sword with the little kind of curved in piece at the end that kind of jutted.
Yeah, I think that's the orc sword, isn't it? That one's officially called. Yeah,
gotcha. We got this is interesting. So it's it's a 1.0 build, but with the Twick head, and it looks really good.
Yeah, and something they included in the packs, they said, were the neck pieces. So it clicks into a 1.0 build, but it's got a 2.0 headpiece and vice versa sort of thing. So,
and also a lot of the neck pieces come with that thing like with the Valiant Knight, where you have also the little hinge in it as well as the ball. So pretty sweet. So that's him. Actually, Mal, do you think if this is going to come within the year, we might get this pack before the Dwarf 2-pack?
That's a good point, isn't it? There is a good chance we might get this before the Dwarf.
There's a very good chance, actually, yeah.
A little sneak preview of the Dwarf parts from that set, especially the boots.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'd be fine with that. As I say, I like all the little guys, and so many of the builds here. I'm with Rich. I like the skinnier goblins.
So this second 2.0 build now with the bare parts, that looks really goblin-y to me. With this new head,
definitely, and just the new bare parts just gives you the option to have, because goblins in my head are always quite ramshackle, so you could have one with fully armored but just a bare thigh because he's lost his thigh bit or whatever sort of thing, you know. So
and Mr. Piggy here. So that helmet looks like the Deluxe Legion Builder Goblin with this new headpiece in. So that's cool. I think that I like that little bit of consistency. You know, they have the same helmets, but it's a different guy.
Yeah. Well, again, for anyone complaining about reuse, that's a perfect example. That helmet, you know, you wouldn't automatically go, oh, that's one from the Deluxe Builder, because the face is so different.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned that before. I love when they do the reuse of parts where we don't know sometimes where, you know, some pieces are glued to other pieces, so they're actually separate tools. And I love when they just do a new piece of half, and then you get half the old part and like this, and half the new. It's obviously going to cost them half it would to tool a new part, so win-win. That shield does look like it's two-tone there, Rich, so happy days there.
Yes, I love the two-tones looks of that.
Yeah, so again, the wood paint effect looks amazing on it.
It does, doesn't it? So winner for this set for me as well. Love it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cracking set.
Yeah. We'll be getting more than one.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The Joe Russo tribute, the Angel.
This almost spoiled the whole reveal.
Yeah.
It's like, this is Joe Russo tribute. Oh, boo.
Or is it trying to say that Joe Russo is a bit like Robbie Williams, you know? I'm loving angels instead.
God, that's so bad.
And the Eurolegions album will be coming out early next year, everybody. Prepare.
It is missing the big silly glasses off this one as well, though.
Comedy glasses, optional extra. Right. Biomal.
A hero from the first age of mythos, Yosef the Golden Spear led a battalion of angelic warriors from the celestial city of Cirrus to fight in the First Great War. Tragically, their mission was a doomed one, and only Yosef survived an encounter with Maxilius the Harvester. The angels fought valiantly, but they were each cut down by the Harvester and raised from death by the unholy magic of necronomousness. Still, Yosef did not surrender, and he proved instrumental to the victory of the First Great War. Returning to Cirrus alone, it would be ages before another of his kind would leave the angelic city to fight in the battles of mythos. That was terrible, sorry.
No problem. Joe will love it, I'm sure. So does this suggest that he's still alive then? He's from...
Yeah, I think so. He's
run away retired
with his tail between his legs.
He's on his pension.
That's it.
You're on mute, sorry.
God damn it. COVID on mute thing. I think the main thing for me for this this bio is that what awful fighters angels clearly are. An entire battalion wiped out by... I know Maxilius is a badass, but come on, an entire battalion...
And they
What
can
on earth's
fly. I
going
mean, you
on?
know, if I could fly, I'd be able to avoid all sorts of stuff, you know. Yeah. So here's the build. So you got the wings. They're the bird wings, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Come.
I think
Are
so.
they the ones that come with the Xenathon?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they retooled the plug, didn't they, at some point? So it makes sense for them to be the same ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the color scheme on them. Yeah, I love this build. It's a night build, but you know, in white, which as we always say, if you want to do a white custom, it's a pain. So here's a bunch of white parts that you can use. Not quite a match to Ignatius, so
no, but
either a pain or
pearlescent,
not.
so it's
pearlescent, yes.
yeah, they can do that sort of combo, can't you, of the two, which for my wallet is not a good thing, because I was going to have a little faction of angels using the Ignatius body, and now it's like, well, I'm going to have to mix and match a bit now, aren't I? So they might double in size.
Yeah, exactly. So, but sweet build, and then you get the magic effect from Poxus, but now in a different color, which is something we always want, because we ain't going to be able to do them in a different color. Certainly not having them see through. So happy days, and you get the Mercurian build, which is pretty sweet, and that's where the purple really comes out. Actually, here I see, you know, this is a kind of a with the purple soft goods. That's the Alithia purple scarf, or well, hers was purple, but that looks like the same soft good piece you got with Alithia.
It might be.
Yeah,
That Mercurian head has no right to work on that build, but it works perfectly.
yeah.
Looks really good, doesn't it? I think the whole
it
figure
really
looks
does.
great. Yeah, whichever.
And when you know
head
how
you
much
use.
of a pain it is to paint, it's very nice to get another factory version of it. You know.
Yeah.
There was no mention of Mercury. Was there an explanation for the Mercurian helmet in the bio?
There wasn't, not in the bio, no.
Well,
maybe it'll come out later that he actually spent some time fighting in the Colosseum after he got kicked out from Cirrus for returning tail between his legs, having lost all his men.
I was going to say, if Maxilius kicked his ass, then Atlas definitely did.
Somebody on one of the other podcasts, I can't remember which one it was, said that they were quite surprised at the skin color for this guy, that it was so pale it made it almost look like a bad guy. Which I thought was an interesting point. I presume it's based on the fact that it's an angel, therefore they are more glowy and light sort of thing. But I can see what they mean. It does look quite intimidating.
We have Gadriel, who's dark-skinned, so I guess angels can be all sorts, but I guess they just chose to go this way with this guy. The face does look. Is that a reuse? That face? No,
it's new. I don't think so. I think it's new.
Is it not the Xylanian Guard face again?
No, I don't think so. If it is, it
looks so different. If it is,
yeah, but it does look pretty hacked off about something anyway.
Well, he just lost all his men.
True, yeah, it's true too. So you get a hands pack with him, or half a hands pack. You get 5 sets of hands. Sorry, you get the classic two-hander, Zweihander sword, a spear with the lovely little yellow tip on it, yellow kind of goldish. And the Valiant Knight Pauldrons, I think, are the ones that come here. And that classic round shield with the lettering on it. I assume that lettering isn't specific to any faction then, because we've had this shield in a few different factions.
But again, it's the paint job on the shield as well, with all the sort of lettering, different colours, and that is really lovely. Beautiful.
What do we think of this one?
I really like it. I think it's really cool. It's one of those where, okay, it's got the knight build, but there's enough about it that makes me go, oh, this is a cool version of a knight, or, you know, it becomes quite a different character the minute you start like adding wings and the bio and the magic effects, etc.
Yeah, the magic effect around the spear is genius.
Yeah,
Whoever decided to do that, it just gives it such a different sort of look, particularly if you've got it on a flight stand and he's doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, I love this character. Goes well with Ignatius now we've got, and we obviously have Gadriel before, so now you have a little kind of holy crew, angel crew.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this in person at Legion's Con.
Yeah,
because, and I hate to use this phrase, but the picture probably doesn't do it justice in terms of the pearlescence.
No, kind of pearlescent paint job.
Don't get me wrong, I'll order a load before then, but it'll still be nice to see it up close and personal and just see how that works. Yeah.
But it's why Ignatius was in All Stars 1, because people didn't realize the paint job until they got it in hand, and then everyone wanted it, so they put it in All Stars 1.
And then Mal destroyed the paint job in a Euro Legions episode a few years later.
That was the gold. That was different. The pearl they nailed.
Oh yeah, the pearl.
One time Mal turned bad.
I just can't get. Don't let less said about that.
Anyway, moving along, and a figure linked to this Yosef figure, which is pretty cool. So, linking the congregation with the Order of Ithron is the Gold Skeleton 2. Now, this was one I was not expecting in this type of wave. If I was maybe Reinforcements 3. So probably if you're thinking about Reinforcements 3, you're probably thinking next year, possibly, at this point. And yeah, this was crazy. So read the bio, that might shed more light. Sorry, Rich, yeah, go.
I was going to say, not only was I not expecting it, I was really desperately hoping I'd never see it again.
Well, there's a preview to what Rich thinks. So, no, take it away.
Right. Casualties of the First Great War. These defeated angelic warriors of Cyrus were cut down by Maxilius the Harvester and then resurrected by the magic of Necronominus. These undead angels became some of Necronominus's most powerful followers, and they were banished with him when the Dark Four were defeated by the great beasts. Immediately distinguishable by their golden bones, these fallen angels still possess their feathered wings as a cruel mockery of the celestial beings they once were.
So I think this, if ever a lore was to kind of elevate a figure in terms of a reason for being and a reason why they're in this wave and not just kind of lumped in there, this is it. So this really explains the gold skeleton. Why did you get it again? Why does the gold skeleton even exist? Because I think a lot of people had that problem. You know, they just thought random repaint, that is a bit weird. But here he has two kind of main looks. I mean, what did you guys think of the lore, Rich? Sorry, before I move on to
the lore was really clever, actually. When they first said gold skeleton and that original picture came up, I was pretty much throwing things at the screen in temper. And then they showed the wings and went through the lore, and I was like, yeah, this works. I really like this actually now. Having sworn I'd never ever get a gold skeleton, I will now be getting a gold skeleton.
I love it.
And not only that, but I've already picked out 2 custom heads from a couple of different makers.
Nice.
That I want to use as well. So I will have 3 of these as a minimum.
So
nice.
I think the bio is cool, but you just show me this picture of this figure, the one where, you know, with the wings, and I'm like, I'm in, I'm all in. It's so nuts. It's such a bonkers looking figure, and I love it. This is my favorite figure of the wave. And
wow.
You know, that's from someone who's not a skeleton fan, not a knight fan. And this is just awesome. It's so daft. You know, it's amazing.
What did you guys reckon to the colour choice for the wings and the weapons sort of thing? It's very scaphoid.
Yeah, which is a good one, considering I have about 4 scaphoid that I haven't done anything with yet.
Yeah, I've got a spare one. Yeah, so I might buy another one of these and try them on him. I like it. I just think it complements the gold and the bronze and the, you know, I did actually write on a post, do you think we could get the sword and the spear tip in translucent, so they're like the wings, because the wings are actually translucent with some paint on them.
Yeah.
So I'd love the sword to look like that, and that spear tip as well. That'd be amazing.
While I like the colours, and I can see why they did it in a scaphoid sort of tone, I think I'd rather have had some sort of pearlescent look to the wings. So they got the gold bones to show they're angels. So maybe, they've had stuff stripped back, but they've still got the wings, and there's that pearlescent sort of shimmery look to the wings.
Yeah, while I'll never ever say no to to translucent wings. I mean, after I've seen the Sphexian wings and how cool they look in the various iterations we got, I kind of feel like we missed a trick here with the bone wings, getting them out. No,
I'm with Mal. I prefer the feathered to the bone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't have liked it as much with
then
the bone
I'll
wings.
take my beating there. Two against one.
You're wrong.
So
you're entitled to your opinion, John, but you're wrong.
Fine. I'll accept that. So I really do like these wings though as well. I like the translucent sea, and I do like that it matches up with Scaphoid. Maybe I'm sure it was intentional.
It's got to be
hard to be unintentional. Although Scaphoid is getting maybe more rare, and it definitely will now. But yeah, I always had a soft spot for Gold Skeleton. I know there was people like Rich that thought this Gold Skeleton is a ridiculous figure, but I always would have fancied getting one, but never like €200 or $200 for a Legion builder. So yeah, I love it, and I love all the gold hands and the bare gold feet you get.
I love the bare gold feet. That's really cool.
Yeah. He's totally having bare gold feet when I've got him.
Yeah. And two of my army will probably have bare gold feet, yeah.
And we've got the shield handles here again, which is interesting. The clip.
Oh, yes.
That was an interesting thing. I don't know if that was just kind of an actual change, or because they did
Trevor said, Trevor said there's the clip, the handle as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there was both. So I think the suggestion, and he wasn't certain, but I think the suggestion was that the clip is a hark back to what the original Gold Skeleton had with the clip. So that's why that went in there. But it's got the handle as well.
And then we also have the kind of classic Gold Skeleton look almost. It's with the updated knight armor parts, which I think is cool. So you get him in his kind of non-angel form, and he's looking pretty cool. So there's a couple.
Anyone watching the YouTube can see me shaking my head vigorously at that just normal Gold Skeleton look. It's just like, dear Lord.
So this is a $40 figure, so it's a deluxe figure, but 40 is not much more than 37. So I think for the amount of stuff you get, I do think the synergy between the armor and stuff that you get with the angel makes sense. So yeah, pretty cool. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, no, I really like this character.
Yeah, so that's my favourite in the wave. So
we're in on the Gold Skeleton.
We're in on multiples. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm going to get a few as well, definitely. The Frost Ogre. So, Alithia's Brood, Rich. We got an Ogre. Frost Ogre.
I'll be honest, I'm not happy about the fact it's not a vampire. The Brood do not need any non-vampires in their ranks. They're tough enough baddies to take care of themselves.
Yes.
And they certainly don't need a non-vampire to guard them. What the hell? No.
Yeah.
So while I wholeheartedly agree with Frost Giants, Frost Ogres, no as part of the Brood. I'll have to find a hard pass meme and put that up for them being part of the Brood.
Yeah.
Right, Mal, you've got the bio there, so give us it's a quick one. A good one.
Savage brutes who dwell in the harsh coals on the borders of the White Spine. Frost ogres are often enlisted by Alithia's brood to act as guardians of the vampire's fortress, the bloodless throne. Hiding amidst the snow and ice, frost ogres will ambush any travellers who were foolish enough to venture into their lands, dragging them back to their icy lairs to an end too terrible to contemplate.
So, pretty fearsome, pretty scary. Here's the main build. So it comes with the Kurzog head and helmet, the same old ogre scale axe, very nice soft goods, and a blue paint job. So I don't know, does someone want to say what they think of this?
I love the paint job. I think when you think of frost creatures, this is the sort of blue you think, oh, certainly I am. This is the sort of blue I'm thinking of, so I'm very happy to have that. I think this is probably the worst offender in terms of reuse, because it, the fur goods are different, but something small like the weapon, for instance, they must have other toppers for those weapons tooled, I would have imagined. Just chucking a slightly different one of those on or something like that could have just upped this a little bit. But as a character and as a race, I think it works well in a different faction. Yeah. I've run out of steam. I prefer the other head. Before I don't want to jump the gun talking about it, but I do prefer the other head.
The other head is much better for me. It really elevates the look here. The soft goods are awesome. The white fur, it's a nice little new color to have. Again, that ogre scale axe. I understand the reuse here, but the ogre scale weapons are just uninspiring, and there's plenty of third parties, so I'm okay with it. But
yeah, and there's lots of for the ogre scale characters, the 1/6 scale figures. The weapons for those go really well with ogre scale because the ogres are so bulky. So you can always find various things on eBay and AliExpress and that sort of stuff to kit out the ogres.
That's it.
Yeah, he's very much the same as he always is for the ogres for me. I think they're cool. I think he's cool. I prefer the Noble Barch head because that's just one of the best heads in the line. But I only need one, and then I'm done. One and done.
See, when they first showed it and it had the Kurzog head, I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to get one of these at all. And then they showed the Noble Barch head, and I was like, I'll definitely get one. And then I was like, oh no, I've got an amazing My Action Figure Customs Odin ogre scale head that I've not had painted yet. That would work perfectly as a frost giant. So I've got 2 frost giants, so I'll be getting 2 of these.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that's kind of keeping me from an all-in. I'm not feeling this guy at all, even after a few days. I don't like the blue. I think it needs to be more in the ice troll range, which is what the Noble Barch head is. So I'd like to see more lighter blues and whites, kind of almost shading. That would have been more interesting for me and would have tied into the vampires better. And then the weapons, I mean, I don't want more of these weapons. I already have a pile of them in a box, so yeah. Sorry to be negative.
This is what we're here to do, is give our honest opinions on things.
Right, not going to be negative about this one. Pasha.
This is a goodie. A Jaguarian thief who has had more than one stay in the cells of Castle Silverhorn, Pasha proved to be an unlikely hero in the Second Great War. Part of a team that ventured in the colds of the White Spine to rescue Queen Artemis Silvercord, the entire party was captured by a band of frost ogres. The Jaguarian was the only one to escape, and he was forced to continue on alone towards his most daring heist ever, sneaking past the defences of the Bloodless Throne and making off with the Queen of Xylernia. Leaving Artemis in the care of the Whisperlings, Pasha returned to the White Spine. If his team was still alive, he was determined to free them.
I mean, what a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Badass, isn't he?
Can I interject at this point?
Yeah.
This is clearly nonsense. Like, no one's getting rescued from the vampires. I don't care how good a thief he is. Like, no.
Look at this guy.
The vampires would be wearing his head as a cap. So I just thought I'd get that point in. But
look at this guy. He's not taking any prisoners from the vampires.
He's badass. I think we said as well, didn't we, John? On and it was funny because I think it was before the heads were revealed. But this is the Novian lean of Mythic. Any head would look good on this build. This is a fantastic build.
I'll also say it in next week's episode to some of our interviewees. This is the figure I'm going to have at my desk when I'm doing custom paint jobs. to just quickly grab, stick the head on, and snap a picture and send it to, say, you boys, and say, what do you think of this one? How does it look?
They will sell so many of this figure because of that very reason.
Yeah, it's an absolute
Just so many.
cracker. And it's got a cat head in a different paint job. It's awesome.
Fantastic paint job.
As I agree with Mal, the paint job is absolutely superb. However, it's the 7th time we've had that cat head.
Don't mind. I love it.
I don't count the purple and cow Ross. I don't count that. That's
it's the 5th time we've had that head. Enough.
Still awesome.
But the paint job
One of them was in
stunning.
a heads pack, Rich. Come on.
4th time we've had it. It's an absolute disgrace. And then one of them was a bonus part in Legion's Con thing. So it's the 3rd time we've had it. It's an absolute disgrace.
Could do eventually with giving us a growling cat head or an open mouth.
That would be the thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, I do know that's a bit more limited in terms of character. These type of stoic heads are a little bit more repaintable for different characters, so I get that. The loadout here, the double of each they're all kind of daggers, large sword dagger, kind of medium dagger, and then the short dagger. Fantastic set of keys. He's a thief. Perfect.
Whoever designed it's definitely like a Dungeons and Dragons fan or a World of Warcraft
this was made with that
the dual wield. Yeah.
We got the little, I don't know if it's a bag of money or whatever, and a bit of potions or whatever here. Really cool little piece. I love those.
Well,
they're the Valak.
That's probably a little pouch of caltropes if we're going by, with the little like star spikes that you throw on the ground, and that's what that would be if we're going with the old Dungeons and Dragons lore.
or is it catnip?
Or is it catnip? Yeah,
He's an illicit supplier of catnip as well.
Yeah, I'll get my cats to sniff it when they comes, and if they start licking it, I'll be like, oof.
That's it. He didn't actually manage to save his friends. Here. He was found high as a kite, sort of halfway along the road.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Licking the little thing.
Yeah. He never rescued anyone. The vampire just got bored with Artemis and let her go. He was off his face on catnip, found her and went, I rescued her, there we go. And I definitely didn't eat all my comrades in a drug-fueled haze.
Yeah, I was just lying here licking catnip, and she fell out of a window into my arms. Multiple belts here, sweet, and not the boring belt that we always used to get. We now have fancy belts with the belts back coming in Necronominus. Don't forget that, or is it All Stars 6? Can't remember.
Necronominus.
It is Necronominus. Yeah. We got the Papa Smurf Duban.
I really like it though.
I love this. Yeah.
And actually, again, it's one of those heads I'm like, that might make its way into Cosmic.
It could, yeah. It could. I could definitely see that working.
I just like the fact it's because they painted it like a shadow elf, then you've now got a 1.0 shadow elf.
Yes.
Give a bit more heft to them. I like that.
Yeah.
And the Valak head in hood repainted as almost like a green goblin kind of thing.
Well, Joe emphasised this is an orc head. And which I'm actually like, I prefer the idea it's something completely different.
That doesn't work as an orc.
We can use our own headcanon here.
Yeah,
well, let that not take away from the fact that it looks awesome.
Yeah.
That one you could definitely sneak into Cosmic as well, Mal.
Yes, yeah.
So this is fantastic figure. This is my definite favorite of this wave. I absolutely love it. This I could get 6 of, no problem.
Yeah. It's my second favourite, but ironically I'd probably buy more of this than I would buy of the Gold Knight, just because of the parts. I would do more with them. So.
I was going to say a similar thing actually, Mal. This is my second favourite, but in terms of an actual figure build, this is better than my favourite. My favourite just wins out because of the race.
What you could possibly add to it is, that dagger that comes in the sheath? That kind of little curved ornamented dagger.
A little curved one, yeah.
That'd be a great little addition if you're doing a custom or whatever.
But I love the fact he's got so many daggers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's stabbed one person, another one. The next guy. There we go.
We also get the boots here, Mal. You know.
Yeah, I love I love those boots. And the cloth parts are my favourite parts. So.
Yeah. Imagine 6 of him and 6 Novian leans. Imagine just the amount of cool costumes you could make.
Well, I hadn't thought about it before, but reading the bio, they obviously won't all look like him, but he goes after Artemis there's a band part of a team who ventured, so it'd be interesting
get 3 and
the rest
stick
of the team.
The heads on them.
Possibly, yeah, that's possibly it, isn't it? They're just rangers of some sort as well.
Yeah. Or just get a couple of the other cat heads, as Rich has said. How many did you say? 5, 6?
It was 7 originally. 7. Although I've just realised since that minor rant that I've actually got another one of those heads painted like a snow leopard that Nikki Nicole did. So I've actually got another one again.
Well, I used the black version on the Elite Elven Guard. I kind of ripped off Noah's build. But how cool would the black Jaguarian look in this gear as a rogue on me?
He would look cool, actually.
And Noah Pratt did get a shout out for this figure.
He did. It was unofficially, it was named after him, wasn't it?
Yeah, Noah Shadowstring is his little character that he did from their episode. So yeah. So the enablers have how many tributes now?
I know.
Compared to the Your Legions.
It's not a contest, John. It's not a contest.
It's definitely something to nil. That's all
I think though, John, we win in the customizers tributes.
Oh yeah, we have had a couple of awesome people. Yeah, do a little customs in our honor. Righty ho, Shadow Centaur.
Do we need to bother reading this one? No.
Do it
it's
for
a
Rich.
horse. No.
Oh, come on.
Right. While centaurs are somewhat common amongst the species of mythos, their shadow cousins have long been nothing more than a horrific memory from the first age of the realm. As Poxus returns to mythos, he opens the nether gate and allows a stampede of these nightmares to terrorize mythos once again. As the deadliest hunters in the circle, Poxus sends his shadow centaurs to seek out and slay the leaders of the convocation. Breaking into the Tower of Basilia, the shadow centaurs hunt their prey, but a familiar-looking necromancer and the spirits of the scholars who once defended those halls of learning stand resolutely in their way.
This bio, I absolutely. I mean, they're all great. But this one I love.
Yeah,
this is a real bio.
Yeah, that wasn't for the bio. So, Rich, talk about your figure.
This is my favourite of the wave. I'll say it's not as good a build, I don't think, as Kai Pasha, but it's a centaur, and I just love centaurs. So this is absolutely my favourite. Evil centaurs. Who doesn't love an evil version of a character? Although I think they could have used a better head. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Dennis Dukakis actually was talking to me. And I know David William used the build as well. He used a Calazir head to make an evil centaur. And I think that's got more of an evil vibe to it. So I think that repainted would have been a better one than the Tharnog.
Yes, I was going to say, I think better than Tharnog, but I actually really like the head it comes.
No, the original helmet like this is good, yes.
Yeah.
No, I like the new head. But yeah, as an additional evil one. But then I'd have to buy 2, which is why they didn't use the Calazir one. And they've got space on the shelf, these boys. They are big fellas.
So I would just say to anyone who's attending Legion's Con and will be taking custom painted heads, just paint a Calazir head to match this and you'll make a sale easily.
I can 100% agree with that. Yes, it won't take much.
But you need to be careful that not multiple people have done that, and you need to get to our table pretty rapid. But if you see me, just skip me.
I love the color palette for this figure as well. I like the skin tones. I love the armor color. Yeah, it's got a great color palette. The golds work really well with it as well. What I don't like, however, is the non-saddle saddle. I know it's an armor piece, and I know it's on to make, because something has to be there to keep the other armor bits together, but it just doesn't work. A Centaur should not have what's effectively a saddle on its back. And the little blankie. I don't, he's got his little rug that he can snuggle up to when he's sleeping. Again, I'm not a fan of that either. I think if you wanted something over the middle, then I think a fur piece or something like that would be more evil, sort of orientated and that sort of thing. I think when I get mine, I'm not going to have the rug or the non-saddle. I'll find some way of just attaching the front and back armors without that.
Mal, what do you think?
I think he's cool. I do think. I mean, I'm teasing Rich about how much he likes it, but I do think it's pretty cool. I really like the new head. The colours are great, but again, it's another one of these that I only need one of as a. It's where that little bit of completionist does kick in with this line with the new stuff. Whilst I'm not willing to pay hundreds and hundreds of pounds for a figure, if I can get it new like this in an All Stars, I want it, so I've got one, and that's all I need, and I'm good. But I think the colours are fantastic, and that head is fantastic. How about you?
Yeah, not for me. No, not for me. Not a fan. No, I didn't like the original Centaur Farius. He was okay, but it was kind of a novelty value kind of thing, and we didn't have the brute scale parts. But the longer I have him, I'm like, where do I put him on the shelf? And he takes up half the shelf, and you can't put a figure on him because that looks completely ridiculous. So it's kind of a thing. And then this guy, imagine take the top half away and just make him a brute scale shadow brute dude. Much better, in my opinion.
And for the listeners and the watchers' interest, when John put these same sort of sentiments up on a WhatsApp group, I sent him the "You Know Nothing" Jon Snow gif as a response to that. Fair.
And also that elf shield that we've had a million times. Don't need that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's quite evil enough, to be honest, for this, but
I really like the paint app on that and the sword, but I do agree in terms of...
and the paint app on the sword is magnificent, but again, I don't need to see that sword ever again.
Yeah.
I do love the kind of spear type, kind of machete spear, whatever it is.
Yeah, like the dark spear, isn't it? I do like that. I mean, that sword normally I think is too big for like a 1.0 character.
Yeah.
But for something this size, actually, that would be a good fit. And as you said, the paint job's fantastic on it.
And I do like that they got the reuse out of the Gorgo.
And again, really nice paint app on them as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't fault the figure and how it's made and the design and everything.
Yeah. It's just not your
just didn't need this character in my life, Yeah. So this is another one that's keeping me away from the all-in, because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, do I want this or could I get 2 Kai Pachas, instead?
Yeah.
For pretty much the same. If you're talking, what are you talking, $5-7 difference in that? So that's what I'm thinking. Or, do I want this or another Goblin 2-pack plus a tenner for the Goblin 2-pack?
Yeah.
So that's where, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm not saying this sucks. I mean, this obviously doesn't suck. It's Rich's favorite from the wave. So this is how the figures are awesome. My least favorite is someone else's favorite. So it can't be crap,
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But like you were saying about, it's your favorite, Rich, but you probably buy more of your second favorite.
Yes. Yeah, 100% I will.
Yeah. So,
although now you said, John, nothing would ride a Centaur, then it's now bugging away in the back of my head going, but if you had a small evil creatures like a shock force, then the Centaur could carry them in, they could all bail off, and then the non-saddle would work. So now maybe I do need to keep that. And this,
what you're always banging on about for Cosmic is these little tiny creatures.
That's it, little shadow goblin type creatures.
Tiny creatures.
Oh, a bunch of gremlins, like a little gremlins on his back.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Then I'd pick one up, to put a bunch of them on it. Yeah, sure. Right. Aza the Spirit Bender 2.
It's one of the longer ones.
It's a longer bio that's actually not all going to be on her box, but it's going to be it's on the website, and the shortened version is going to be on the box. Yeah. So take it away, Mal, because I can't. It's pretty blurred on the screen here because it's so long.
One of the oldest living warriors in Mythos, Aza the Spirit Bender's true nature was revealed during Poxus's attack on the Tower of Basilia. As the nightmares poured forth from the Nethergate, they recognised a shade necromancer amongst their hated enemies, for Aza was actually one of the beings summoned to Mythos by Poxus during the first age of the realm. Aza somehow escaped the banishment spells that doomed Poxus and his army in the First Great War. Finding herself orphaned in Mythos, she presented herself to the original head of the convocation and asked for help breaking free from the influence of Poxus. Complex spells of banishment were tattooed onto Aza's skin, allowing her to gain her freedom from the deceased members of the Dark Four. From that day forward, Aza the Spirit Bender swore her loyalty to the convocation of Basilia. Confronted by the otherworldly horrors of her past life as they attacked Ophidian, Aza stood firm and fought to protect Mythos. As the tower fell and the great library of Agbendor burned, Aza called upon the spirits of the many witches and wizards who had once roamed those halls of learning, but had since passed on, asking them to defend Ophidian one more time. The ghosts of these magically powerful beings rose against Poxus' army, chasing them away and preventing the complete destruction of the convocation of Basilia.
So it's great to get her backstory.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even have her race before. So this is really cool.
She's a total badass, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and she's the one left standing in Ophidian that's kind of defending the thing. So my favourite faction, Basilia, I mean, am I going to have to cry at G-Con with all the fallen heroes? We get Balaam version 2 and it's just
someone's going to
Ashes pot.
Yeah, someone's going to do a dio of the tower, rubble of the tower with modified dead convocation members strewn all over it. That's going to happen, Joe.
Oh, just a cat skull in the ground, and I'm going to cry.
Balaam's body being carried along by woodland creatures.
Oh,
yeah. We've been freed from our enslaver. He can't control us anymore.
I think he's a bit more like Dr. Dolittle, and he sort of talks to them nicely.
He's exactly. He makes them do nice stuff.
Yeah.
So what do we think of Aza 2? So firstly, surprised that we got Aza 2, but not a total surprise, because I think
called it.
You had called it, and we'd been previously teed up that, maybe not the kind of top tier characters would be the only ones that get version 2s, that some of the at least lesser characters that we would have thought will get version 2s, and obviously with the bio like that, she kind of is raised up to be maybe more of a top tier character now.
Yeah, she's one I wanted anyway in the original version, so to get her as a 2.0 is awesome, and I think it's an awesome looking. It's a good example of how you do a version 2, and. If I had the old one, I don't think I'd need it anymore with this one coming up. I think she's great. I really, really like it. Yeah.
And you, Rich?
I have the old one, and I'll be keeping the old one and not getting this one. I think there's good bits to this. I think this is a very, very good way to do a version 2. The magic effects around the legs, great idea. The soft goods are obviously different level, but the reuse of the heads is just like, no, it spoilt it for me. And I don't mean that in an over dramatic, it's not fair, the toys of the world. I don't mean it like that, but
clip that, purple gang.
I'd have binned my old one off, definitely. But because the head sculpt doesn't work for me, then I'll just keep my old one.
So you're talking about as we mentioned in our little prelude talk to this chat, the Thrace unhelmeted head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cloaked head isn't different enough to warrant me
So I've listened to the Mythic Enablers show, and I think one of the other live streams that were talking about this as well. And there's been a lot of back and forward about which head this is reused, so I'm not going to go over that now unless you guys know. I don't think this is the original Aza head reused, but I think it's one of the other hooded heads reused. So
no, it could be Faustia, maybe.
Yeah, Faustia would be my guess, or it could be the hood from one of them and the headpiece from another. I don't know, because the hood just looks a bit different. So anyway,
the hood to me almost looks like the male hood, but with a female
there you
piece
go.
inside.
Interesting. I love this one with the head and the magic effects and the. Now, when you're looking at this and you're saying you're passing on it, and I get it because I'm in the same place as you, Rich. I have this character, and I don't like her enough to maybe splash out in a version 2. But I could sell her and replace her with this. But this is a $37 figure, and look at all the stuff you're getting.
In terms of parts, you can't go wrong.
And the soft goods. So
yeah. I mean, what I would say,
it's insane to not pick her up in a way.
Yeah, but it's the use of the Thrace head is just emphasized again by the fact they got the Thrace magic effect as well.
Yeah,
and I know she's the same sort of thing. You bring in through their ethereal forces, and I get all that, but that combined with that head, just no.
So maybe it's explained in the book, or there's a story element to it. Who knows? The dagger here is what I was talking about for Kai Pasha. The dagger with it, that would also be cool in a different paint job, obviously, for him. But quick custom job if you want to do that. But yeah, she's an awesome figure. I'm on the fence as well about whether I need to pick her up, only because I'm on the fence about the other two that we just talked about, the Centaur and the Ogre. And I'm thinking if I leave her out and then I get the other multiples I need, I'm filling up my order maybe. And I could still maybe pick her up down the line anyway. And maybe I'll come round on the Ogre. I won't come round on the Centaur, I don't think so.
You Centaurist.
I'm a center, yeah. So, any more to say about Aza 2? Happy? I'm happy you're getting it.
I think I've painted myself into a bit of a corner here because I've been so anti her that if I then do just change my mind and decide to get her at some point, I'll never live it down. But
we're all allowed to change our mind. That's the sign of a well-rounded
absolutely.
Individual that you can admit you're wrong.
And Mal, as you said, you like her and you're happy to get her. This is the classic. You're the classic candidate for a version 2.
Yeah.
That you don't have the character, you want the character, and here's version 2, and it's going to cost you $37 plus shipping.
Yeah, exactly.
Or within your all-in, that's not much.
Than what I could have got before.
Yeah, and it's better than what you got before. Yeah. Some people are like, oh, I wish they did the upper torso, I get it, but this one's also cool. Yeah. So interesting. As I said, if there was a different alternative head, more unique one, that could have been the clincher for me.
Yeah, same here.
And I mean, that's very harsh.
Incredibly harsh. I mean, as a figure and as a build, this is undoubtedly better than the version 1.
And I think we should shout out the magic staff as well.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I mean, with Re the head, as I said at the beginning, I get that. I do get that. Even though I actually think it's the best version of the head, it does just feel like, oh well, we've had it twice before, very recently, and it's the recency of how soon of having it, isn't it? Let's be fair, because we've had other heads. I could
get almost the reuse of that head more if they had a hood on the soft goods. Because that's the
maybe
head for that.
yeah. But I think Rich has nailed it. I'm guessing the thinking was she is almost the anti-Thrace, or Thrace is the anti-her, isn't she? Yeah. So I can. Maybe Thrace, the Umageist, is based off of Aza. Is some sort of part of Aza. So.
Well, I also love in the bio that they explained the black tattoos on her.
Yeah, as being
that's pretty cool.
Of binding spells.
Yeah. So all around very well done there, Horseman. As I say, tricky one, but I think I'll probably end up with her. And then last but not least, and I think we talked about this, that we would have preferred if he was the first reveal and then he's telling the story of the rest of the reveals.
I think in some way I understand why he was left till last, and the thinking being that he tells the story, he gets that and he's telling the story, but actually it might have immediately framed what this wave was, because it tells you what he's doing in his biography. So,
yeah. So, give us the biography then to set the scene for him.
A member of the learned, Dre was once the master at the great library of Agbendor. When the circle of Poxus attacked the Tower of Basilia and burned the library to the ground, Dre was one of the scholars who risked his life trying to protect the knowledge contained in that ancient collection. Having survived Poxus's attack and the subsequent battles of the Second Great War, Dre was named the library's new master of records. Returning to Ophidian to help rebuild the library, he combs through the ashes of Agbendor, searching for tales of the past, while also beginning to record the stories of this modern age of the realm of mythos.
So, cool bio. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anything to comment on the bio, Rich? Or?
Good bio. Again, it could have been tweaked slightly. I quite like the way it's worded on the Waves released part of the website now, where it says the Old Wizard begins to chronicle the stories from the first age of the realm, as well as modern tales of heroism and sacrifice. If you build that into the bio somewhere, I think that would work a little bit better. But it sets a scene for what he's doing, certainly.
Yeah. Right, and the figure itself then. This is an enormous nitpick. And maybe I've heard other people say about it since, but I said this straight away on our chat, Mal. Yeah. He looks like the other wizards. And then they said this is a new head. And then I was like, just do him different then. Give him maybe hair and no beard.
Yeah.
Just make him look a bit less like Kalazir, or not Kalazir, was it Samir and Arazak, yeah. And when you zoom in on this face, the detail is incredible. It's an amazing head sculpt. It's an amazing paint job. So no complaints there, and maybe all the wizards look like this, so, okay, cool. But...
Yeah, it's... I said, when we were doing our predictions, I said, didn't I, like a beard... full head of hair wizard without a beard would be a cool thing.
Yeah.
Or even just a shorter beard, just something to make him look different. Because as you say, the face sculpt is incredible, but it looks like Samir because the beard's virtually identical.
Yeah. So we got the 2.0 boots here, Mal. So happy days. Nice to get them again. The staff that comes in the weapons pack of Poxus and possibly one of the other figures, can't think of offhand now. And the books in the chains in a different paint job. Awesome. Again, those pauldrons, I don't like them. The armored pauldrons. 2.0.
I've just realised, I think that staff comes with Samir as well to reinforce the similarity.
Oh, goodness. Soft goods are cool. Green is a bit weird though with those other two colours, but...
It's green and purple, dude. What are you talking about? That's a great combo.
Yeah, it is a good combo, but and then the blue though as well. I don't know, it's a bit too much. The alternate heads speak to my co-host here in a big way, which is the translucent parts.
I'm a sucker.
It's not an exclusive translucent parts. It's literally just translucent parts.
Yeah. I am an absolute sucker for translucent parts, and the fact that it's him powered up is like, oh, that's good. That's cool. So I should probably say my opinion. When I first saw him, I wasn't sure what to think. I didn't know. But I will say he's grown on me over the last few days. I didn't mind the head sculpt thing at all. And that wasn't where... I don't know what it was about him. I couldn't decide what I thought. I loved when they revealed the translucent head, as you know. That was immediately...
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was
Love
a little squeal there.
Yeah. But yeah, he's grown on me, to be honest, as the days have passed. I'm like, yeah, he's cool. I like him. I think he's fun. I do also like his Vault Dweller outfit underneath.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of fallout about the outfit underneath. Go and I'm sure they'll post a photo of that in the meantime on the website, on their socials, but it is on the live stream as well.
I'm excited. It's the Despotar build, and I'm excited about getting that anyway, because I actually think, just as is there, you could use that in Cosmic. Sorry, anyone listening. Yeah. And the chest plate almost looks just a bit like the Novian Lean chest plate if you painted it in the right way. So it gives you a sort of a narrower, thinner male body for Cosmic as well.
Yeah, and again, we might get those parts before we get Despotar himself. So
I think we probably will.
A bunch of accessories here. You get 4, so you get 2 sets of translucent hands, 3 sets of human hands, a bunch of books, kind of the satchel and the bag that you get first with Krotos. Obviously the 2 heads in translucent and painted. That translucent, it's not blue Hagnon apparently, it's more clear.
Yeah, it looks paler than that to me in these pictures.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and you get the 2 neck pieces, one for the translucent head and one for the regular head. So overall, I think he's a nice figure. He's again one that I'm kind of, I definitely have to get him because he's a cool character, but he's one I could take or leave in the first instance and maybe pick it up at the retailers later, which if I'm not doing all in, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm literally between, do I get the all in or do I get just a bunch of figures that I want? So yeah, he's one that would be on the borderline for that.
The translucent parts sold him for me. I mean, I'd have got him anyway because he's, as you say, he's an important character, but not generally the biggest translucent fan in the world, as you know by my hatred of Hagnon. Yeah. But it looks really, really good like this. So I was really glad that the neck piece was translucent as well. So you have just got this glowing translucent thing wearing clothes. I like that.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the whole wave. I thought we'd round it off by having a look at the wonderful artistic shots that Trevor did for each character. I thought they were worth a little bit of conversation on their own. Some of these are worldies, like literally have the Prince Allegiance Con instant purchase job.
Yeah. I think all of them are up there with his best work, every single one. But then it's what your preferences are in terms
when you
of
look
images.
at these and you think, the amount of work you see people put in for, an amazing shot on Instagram or whatever, and they show you the behind the scenes. There is 9 shots here basically of that, or even, the top of that quality. So the first one is the blue shield. You get the 3 different builds, an amazing backdrop there. Loads of movement in it, so just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you could make a calendar just out of these shots. They're that good, and people would buy it. They're that good.
It's like a pregnancy calendar. It's 9 months.
Now, come on, John. I know there's some big lads at the convention, but that's a bit harsh.
The goblins. There's cool. 3 of the builds there. Look at that down the mines. I mean, you're straight away down there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Discovering Gob Hollow.
Yeah, if you've ever been to some place that has caves that you can kind of go in and get a guided tour over or something. This is it. Literally, this is how we imagine caves, and this is how they are. So again, incredible work there, and that seems to be all dio pieces. So. Again, amazing. The angel floating in the sky, just like that.
It's just stunning, this picture.
Look at the background. I guess that's like an LED panel or like a TV with that background on it. But to make it so blend in so well is just kind of...
Yeah, and he said something on the after show thing about using cotton wool or something around the feet as well to make it look as if the clouds are going around it. So that blends it into that sort of picture behind. So that's very clever.
That's different gravy there, yeah. So again, absolutely incredible. The gold skeleton we got here.
Love it.
Again,
this picture sells the figure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The light
you see the
through the wings.
translucency.
Yeah.
You see the kind of ominous sky background where it's that kind of moonlit, kind of creepy look. Yeah.
Well, and that's it, isn't it? Even though the pose is sort of like a similar flight pose to the angel, it's just so much more sinister and creepy and which
you can hear the creepy music when you look at it.
Yeah.
The ogre, again, beautiful. I mean, this looks like a simple shot, but I can tell it's not. Firstly, to get all that snow set up and blending in the background to the foreground, getting the perspective right and everything. Just amazing.
And just the idea of an ogre creeping up on people. It's not something you expect. You expect them to be barreling along, whereas this one's clearly sneaking up. You know, he's coming at them without them realizing. I love the pose.
And I think I also appreciate here that because this is, you know, a lot of this is, you know, factory parts repainted, he can get the proper poses as opposed to, you know, pure prototypes. So much movement here in the Kai Pasha shot. I mean, he's running down a corridor after something or somebody. I love that. That's one I would buy in a heartbeat again. You know, I love this character so much, and I love this figure so much. And just look at that. Yeah, and he's got the keys in the hand.
It's just clever, isn't it? To me, he's running away and he's got the keys, and it's just that sort of moment you caught.
Yeah, he's probably, you know, stabbed somebody or, you know. Your Centaur, I mean, this sells the figure here. I mean, look at the amount of movement.
Like this picture, John.
Yeah, even the movement in this picture is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, the waist looks incredibly skinny. I mean, I'd be extremely happy if I could get a picture of myself with a waist that looks that impressive.
It's cool, isn't it? Because it's as if you're cowering away from him, but he's found you.
Yeah. You're absolutely in serious trouble if you're looking from the perspective of the camera at this guy.
Yes.
Good night. Aza the Spirit Bender. Does this sell Blue Hagnon to you, Rich?
No. But it is a glorious picture, but no.
It's incredible. He did use the skeleton head on the Blue Hagnons to kind of take away the Hagnonness of it. But look at that. And that's a picture that the head doesn't bother me. It is the Thrace head, but you can't really tell from this picture.
I think just the whole composition of the shot is what works, isn't it? And her
perspective,
in
the background, the foreground, her,
the mist
with her
rolling
absolutely badass pose. I mean, badass pose. You know, just incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's more frightening, her or the Centaur, because those are both intimidating. You'd be like, okay,
and they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Well,
last but not least,
I ended up missing out on the metallic Atlas picture with the bear. If he does the metallic one of Aza, I need to get that one.
Oh yeah, and that the color of that print, the color, you know, the way that's colored, perfect for that metallic type.
Yeah,
print.
Exactly.
And then Shui,
I really like
beautiful.
This
I mean,
picture,
like this is a scene from a movie, you know.
Yeah,
this is the opening scene of the movie. Shui turns up. He's looking through. He's going, "What have I got left here to do with?" He finds a dusty old book that hasn't been burnt, and the story starts to get told. You know,
I think it's in some part this shot that has added to, you know, has made me gradually come around to this figure. Well, I was never against it. I just wasn't sure what I thought, but it gives off the wandering vibe. So you could almost imagine him just wandering around Mythos collecting stories or something like that.
Totally,
You're not just in the library.
Definitely.
I think that's cool.
Totally. So there you go. There's Ashes of Agbendor. A great wave. I think it will hold up in time.
I think so too.
It's a brilliant wave. I mean, it's once people get over the part reuse shenanigans, and it is, it's nothing to worry about. And I think
it's shenanigans in the groups of people posting, not shenanigans in anything the Horsemen have done.
Oh no, sorry. Yes, absolutely. In no way does it mean to suggest that. Yeah. It'll be brilliant for them, and for customizers, it's a fabulous wave.
Yeah.
People are going to buy multiple Kais, they're going to buy multiple gold.
Yeah,
angels, like me.
I think in a little way, because there is so many amazing customizers now, that when you get a repaint wave, some of it is you might have seen it already a little bit. Not exactly, but like there's been so many repaints of these parts because there's been so many customs that it is difficult even for the studio at this point.
Well, I mean, the Aza using the Thrace head, Dennis Derby had already
done it. Now
he'd already done that, hadn't he?
Done it with he'd left the hair white, but otherwise it's like spot on, and either is cool, So that's it. That's the Ashes of Agbendor. That's our episode 69 for this week. Thanks, guys. This episode has been a particularly tough one to do. We got extremely sad news this week that our friend and supporter Ralph Mouse passed away, unfortunately, suddenly, and we got the news basically today. This happened, so this episode is dedicated to him. There'll be a separate little tribute to him in the podcast feed before this episode goes out, so you'll hear that first. Much love to him. Thanks for all his support over the years. He will forever be one of our fans, and we'll forever think of him when we're doing the podcast. So cheers, Ralph. And I don't know what to say. I can't say anything more than that. Life is short, and that's just proof of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cheers,
okay,
Ralph. Miss you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
You'll be dearly missed, Ralph.
Dearly missed. Yeah. So sorry we never met in person. Absolutely. Cheers, guys.